Welcome back to Success with Connections, or I should say, Success Through Connections. And today I have a really special guest. She's a special guest because she's so close to my heart, Karen Coffey. And let me tell you a little bit about Karen Coffey. So she is a real estate coach, and I met her probably at least 10 years ago. And I met her at a trade show because I always talk about where can you meet people, and I tell you to go to trade shows. This is where I met Karen. Now, I had never had a real estate coach before, and that's what she is. And y'all know that I'm in real estate. So I was very impressed with her. Never had a coach before, but I thought, why not? And I was just so impressed with her. And uh, I'm still impressed with Karen. And she hasn't aged one single bit in all these years that I've known her. She just gets prettier and prettier. So Karen is a real estate coach, and she's an extraordinary coach. She doesn't teach you the same old stuff. It's very different. So again, I'm going to have her share some of her wisdom with us, and she'll catch us up on what's going on in real estate. And we're just going to have a great conversation. So Karen, thank you for coming today. I'm so glad I ran into you on Facebook.
Zelda, good to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I'm really looking forward to it.
So glad you're here. So I'm just going to get right into it, and we're going to share our connections because that's how we met, if I'm not mistaken. We met
Yep, we
that
did.
way. And then I ran into you again on a Facebook feed.
Yep,
So that
10
connection
years later.
years
Still doing
later,
it.
still doing it. So
Yes,
the first
you're
thing
a
I wanted to ask
sweetheart.
you is if you could share your journey into real estate and coaching. What inspired you to go in this path? Because I know you were first a realtor, and I know that you
Mhm.
struggled in the very beginning. So maybe you can share some of that story because it is a very interesting story. And nobody gets where they are by themselves. And everybody who's an entrepreneur, they struggle.
Yes, absolutely. Being a business owner is not for the faint of heart, is it, Zelda?
No,
It's
not at
not.
all. So can you tell us
No,
a little bit about your journey and what inspired you to
absolutely.
take this path?
Yeah, it was back before I guess it was around the banking crisis. My mother had passed and she left me $8,000, and I went and got my real estate license, and I had been in it prior but had left. And so as my mother, just left me, she was not wealthy. Got that real estate license and a clunker car, and I moved to a brand new market where I didn't know a soul. And in real estate, as you know, you need to know people. You need to know what's happening. And so I knew that I could afford to get my real estate license again. And I got into the business, and I was fortunate. I was blessed. I was many different things. I was in this brand new market. I made $100,000 in my first 100 days. And we can talk about that in a little bit. But people started noticing, and they started noticing that I was having all this success and they were struggling and I wasn't. And it was after the, banking downturn. So everybody was struggling, but I wasn't. I was really thriving. And so people started asking me to coach them. And so I said, sure, I'll teach you and help you and whatever. And so that is how I got into the real estate coaching avenue. And it's been quite the journey. And we created Karen Coffey Coaching. And we won the Inc. 500, 2 years fastest growing companies in America, 2 years in a row, created this amazing coaching environment, mainly for women that were in residential real estate sales, just like you. So
And
you were one of my first, bless your.
I believe, and you were, I guess you would say, the accidental coach.
Yes, I was. Exactly. That's a good way of saying it. It's not something I set out to do. It wasn't something that I said, oh, I have to be a coach. No, it was, I wanted to help people. What I didn't tell you was that, prior to my mother passing, uh, the downturn had happened, and I was, just really, I was struggling then. Everybody was. And I turned out being a homeless single mom. So my son and I were living in the basements of friends, and it was not a great time. So I didn't go into this with the idea of I'm going to be a coach. I just needed to have money for dinner, and I didn't know how to get
I
it.
don't want to eat
So
ramen noodles, but
yes, exactly. Every day was, is it onion with my ramen or celery with my ramen?
Yeah.
My son to this day doesn't like ramen.
I can understand that.
Exactly.
So you started helping the other people around you because they saw how successful you were
Yeah. From nothing. Yeah.
from nothing. So did you have some mentors or some people that were influential to you because or you didn't just create out of the blue? Who were some
Right.
how did you find mentors and connections and people to help you in your career?
I had in the this is going to tell how old I am. In the 90s, early 2000s, I had a coach, Mike Ferry, and his sons, Tom and Matthew. They worked with him in the real estate industry. So I worked with them, and then I joined a real estate company, and they had some coaching there. But it was all around the same theme. And that theme was cold call, cold call, cold call. And door knock, door knock, door knock.
Nobody wants to do that.
Nobody. And I had great success doing other things. Their role in my life was accountability. So when I left real estate and then came back later, I said, those are things that I'm never going to do. Number one, our world has changed. I'm never going to be in nice shoes and knocking on doors anywhere. As a female, not going to happen. And I knew I needed to create a way that women could do real estate in a very productive, prosperous way. So they were my mentors, and that was in the early 2000s. I didn't have anybody in between, except, and this is where I've had clients ask me, Karen, where did your success come from? Like, you didn't have mentors in there, you didn't have coaches for yourself during that time. When I was homeless, literally, sometimes when you get knocked down, Zeldin, you know this, when you get knocked down, the only place you go is on your knees. And I got on my knees and I started praying to a God I didn't even know if I believed in him, to be honest, because I was just like, how could this happen in my life? And I said, but if you're real, you need to give me some guidance. You need to tell me what to do, and you need to make it super clear. Now, I didn't hear booming voices at that moment. I didn't hear, nothing like there was no earthquake.
The bush didn't burn.
It didn't burn. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that bush didn't burn. So I just got quiet and I would journal and I would write, and I got this very strong impression. So I know this isn't what your show is about, but I cannot.
No, this is so what it's about.
I have to tell you,
your connection was the Lord.
Yes, it was. My coach was God. And I know God is my CEO. He's not my co-pilot. I don't work. He doesn't work for me. I work for him. Yeah. And so that was my first day on the job working for him. And he told me what office to go to. Now, I know you're going to say, well, Karen, I don't hear God. Well, I was blessed, and I really believe it was because I am to take this message out. And I do, as you know. How do we hear? How do we strengthen that connection? It's real. Where do we get guidance from? Where do we get peace from? So he told me which office, what to do. And that's when I made $100,000 from homeless. My shoes didn't have heels. You have the nails. The nails are hitting the sidewalk when you're walking down the sidewalk because it's clicking and you don't have the rubber on the shoes. And I walk in on my tiptoes so it wouldn't click. So I had nothing. And from homeless, I made that $100,000 in the first 100 days in a brand new market where I didn't know anybody, based on what guidance I got by listening in prayer. So that's who my coach has been all these years. Yeah.
That's an incredible story. And it's kind of like I was telling you earlier that I follow Carrie Cohill with the Daily Success Call. And that is truly what it's about. It's like, I'm not driving the ship here or the boat or what it is. I'm not driving anything. It's God is steering the ship here. You can try to control, but you're not in control.
You can tease yourself.
Yeah.
You can try and convince yourself. Yeah.
That isn't happening. So you've got these customers now. You are now a coach. You've been a coach for many years now. We won't say how many, but for many.
Oh, no. It's 5, 6 years.
It was awesome because I know when you coached me, to our audience, I don't think you do this anymore, but you came to my home.
I I don't do that anymore.
I don't think you do that anymore. She came to my home and she spent an entire day. And I still remember some of the things you taught me about open houses because I've
Yeah.
taught RH. I don't even think I probably worked for some other company. I don't think we had our own company when you coached.
No, no, not
Because
yet. Mm-mm.
my son and I opened up our own firm after many years later. So in
Yes, you were
2016,
able to do that. It was
so
amazing.
it was, yeah. And struggle, struggle, struggle. And you just keep on going when
Right.
life kicks you down. So
Yep.
how have you stayed? You're the coach, so you're here. Okay, God is here. We understand, but you're here
Yep.
right under there
Yep.
with the coaching, and you have your coaching clients. So how do you, as not a practicing realtor, correct?
Right. Right. No longer. Mm-mm.
How do you stay updated with the current trends and the
Yeah.
changes in the real estate market?
Yeah, well, you have to be if you're going to coach people. And I have high tier private clients that I work with. So we work with about 500 women a year and a few good men, is what we say. So we do take men because they're like, you have to let us in. And I'm like, okay, but just know. And so the private clients that I work with, we're very involved in asking them, what challenges are you facing? And we do all the research on the back end. We have relationships with all of these platforms where we're finding out how they work, how they evolve right now, because I know you're going to ask this. What should agents be really looking at right now? There's all this old-fashioned stuff, and we really can't. I mean, yes, you can do the things that will, like, there's tried and true, like not just doing open houses. You have to amp that up. We call it the 6-figure open houses because you can make 6 figures off of one open house if you do it right. So you can have the tried and true, but you've got to know how to work with AI in this business, in this market right now. You have to be able to work with video and socials right now. You can't let those things pass you by. Not now. We don't know where the economy is going. We don't know. Our commissions have been, slashed. NAR just had that big lawsuit. All of these things coming down the pike. So it's really important to us to stay, and I say us because I do have a full team behind me that I couldn't do what I do without them.
That's right.
And they're
Some of those
amazing.
connections. Nobody does this by themselves. Nobody.
No, if you are doing it by yourself, you're dropping, you're just stepping over pennies. I mean, stepping over dollars to pick up pennies. It's really hard to do this on your own. In real estate, Zelda, you've heard me say this. There was a report, and it was years ago, and it was something like it's probably more now, 150 things to do to close a transaction. And it takes about 52 hours to do those things. That means you can only physically, if you worked 52 hours a week, close one transaction a week, which for some agents are like, that'd be great. But you're working 52 hours a week. That's a lot.
People don't
This is
understand. I tell them all the time, I tell them, okay, you think everything, we're not door openers. Okay. That's what the
right.
perception is. And what you don't see is I say, I'm a duck. You see everything smooth on the top, but you don't
That's
see
right.
paddling underneath there.
I love that.
Right? It's
I
like they
love
don't
that.
see that. Maybe we should show the good, the bad, and the ugly to the
That's
public
right.
so that they see all the things that a realtor
I
does.
tell you, honest to goodness, there needs to be a reality check for the public at large, of what and everything that we do.
Mhm.
That it is literally a full time, sun up to sundown.
Yeah.
Now, we have a method of working 20 to 30 hours a week, leveraging things affordably so you don't have to drop the ball.
You don't have to
You
pick up your phone at 9 o'clock at night.
No, you don't.
You don't have
No.
to. Maybe if you're brand new and you're desperate. I don't know, but I think
I
I
don't know
learned that
who
from you.
would, but
I
you got to
learned that I
stop.
believe from you long ago. It's like you don't. And as my son would tell me, he's the broker actually. He
That's
says
great.
he says to me, "Mom, there is nothing after 7 o'clock that you can do anyway, so just don't pick it up."
That's right.
And
You've
he's
heard me say there's
right.
no real estate emergency. And it's like, I know that plumbing breaks. I know that, but it's not an
Call the
emergency.
plumber, not the realtor.
That's right. There's never a good call that comes at 9 p.m., by the way, either. Either
No.
they've been drinking or you wish they had been because they never have anything good to
That
say.
is true. And I had to recently defend the profession with a woman who probably had a very bad experience with a realtor who was saying, "Well, I'm glad there was this lawsuit happening because I think it's about time that y'all don't get paid what y'all get paid." And I said, "Well, I'm very sorry that you had a bad experience, but let me tell you, I'm worth every penny and then some. Let me tell you
Yeah,
the things that I do." And I really
absolutely
went
you
to
are.
town on her. I'm like, I was probably
Good for you.
I
That's what
was
I'm saying. There's just haters. There's just haters.
yes.
If they're not succeeding in what they're doing, they're so bitter and there's such hatred around it. And it's like, we shouldn't have to fly a flag that says, I work 50 hours a week. That's not who we should be anyway. You
No.
can work less, make more, but there are just people that it's just, you don't want to work with them for
They
sure.
see that maybe you have this nice commission check, but they don't
Yeah.
realize that I just went 2 or 3 months without anything.
Right. Or it's cut up in four ways,
Yeah, yeah,
It-
exactly. And that's
oh
more
my
important.
God.
It's like, yeah, you got what you got, but guess who else is getting a piece of that pie? So
That's
they don't
right.
understand that. And I also tell people all the time, we've always had the right to negotiate.
Yeah,
It's like
always.
I've always negotiated my fees, so I don't know what, to me it's business as usual, but I just have an extra signed document.
Yes, exactly. One more.
This is just one more. So can you describe a success story where your coaching made a significant impact on some client's career?
Oh goodness, wow. We
Yeah,
have so
you can only
many.
pick one.
I can only pick one.
You
One
can
of them
only
that
pick
just
one.
really thrills me. It was Heather out of Phoenix, Arizona, and she made, and it's on our website, but I'm going to butcher the number. It was something like 190,000 in her first month of the year after coaching with us. So she had been coming from, she probably made the previous year, maybe 80,000 for the entire year. And she went through our coaching, which was a 12-week process at the time. It's just 12 weeks, or you can do it 6 months, doesn't matter. And she implemented everything, and her following January, $190,000
That's
in commissions, just sales and
what did
transactions.
she do that was different to make her do something so drastically different?
Well, she followed my program. I can't
Oh,
tell you, or I'd have to kill you. No, I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
well, can you give
But
us any little tips on your program so that we go
gosh,
and give us a tip? Tell us a little nugget. Tell us a nugget.
yes, I will give you a tip. The tip is that you have to treat this like a business. And I always say, if you don't pay my mortgage, you don't get my mornings. And I'm not saying cold call. I am saying treat this like you are the CEO of your business. And I really drive that home. There is a schedule. There are things to do on that schedule. And it ends at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So if it's showing up at 9 and leaving at 1, what you do after that, I could care less. But if you're not the CEO, then someone else is. I always say God is my CEO. We put that in that quiet time in the morning before 9. Get connected. Find out what's the one thing that I need to do today. God, if you're talking today, tell me what's one thing I
What
need.
do you want
Who's
me
the
to
one
do?
person
I
I need to
start my
connect
mornings
with?
that way too. Tell me what you want me to give.
Yes.
What
Who
do
can
you
I
need me to
serve?
do today? Yeah.
Who can I love? Who can I show up for today? If you are thinking of this like a transaction, shame on you. This is not transactional. This is serving. This is relational. It's everything that your podcast is about, Zelda.
You're so right. When I tell people, when I'm on the stage speaking, I speak about connections. I tell
Yeah.
people there's all these, our grandchildren, our children, they're all about the iPads and the
Yeah.
iPhones and all this technology. But when it comes to real estate, you need those tools, but it's really about the one-to-one connection that you have. It's about
Yeah.
the relationships that you have with your
Yes.
database, with your people.
Yeah. And talking with these people and finding out what is challenging for them.
Mhm.
Why are they moving? Is there an underlying nobody moves because it's a great time. It's just a great time and I can't wait because it's so much fun. Nobody does that.
No.
There is a pain, there is a want, there is something they're running away from or something they're going towards.
Yeah.
Find out what that is. Serve people, connect,
What's
do
their
your
motivating
schedule
factor
from
for
9 to
moving?
1
Yeah.
and get serious about don't do what every other realtor's doing. You taught me this when everybody zigs, you got to zag. I remember you telling me that. That was a long time ago.
I still do that. It
Yeah.
was all of a sudden everybody is putting mailers out. I don't know about the rest of the crew, but I get so much mail every
Yeah.
day from realtors sending me their postcards. In fact, one
Yeah.
realtor sends me something every single day. I'm thinking, do you not even look at your database of who you're sending this stuff to? You are wasting a
Right.
lot of money on me. It's going in file 13, but you're right. I don't do that kind of mail. I'll pick up the phone and call them, or I'll go visit them or something. But you're
Yes.
absolutely right. When they're zigging,
Whatever
you
anybody
zag,
else is
and when
doing,
they
do it too.
start zagging, you start zigging.
That's right. That's right.
That's
Exactly.
absolutely true. So, what are the top most important qualities that you believe is needed to be a successful realtor today in today's world?
Yeah. The first, I believe the most important quality is a strong mindset. Because I can give you every skill, and we've seen this over and over, year after year, thousands of agents that we've worked with. I can give you every skill. I can give you every strategy. I can give you everything lined out. And we do. It's like done for you. It is just laid out there. And if you don't have a strong mindset when things get tough, when people don't call you back, or someone puts a angry emoji on a post you put out into the world and you're feeling vulnerable, if you can't get over those things and lean into the next thing and not give up, then you're just not going to make it. It is time and time again we see it is the mindset that creates success at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It isn't really, it's like, yes, we have this strategy, we have this skill, but you better have somebody in your corner holding your hand, keeping you accountable to that mindset and be able to speak life into you and speak life into your business.
So, there's so much competition out there. I mean, it's like, and when COVID happened, they came out of the woodwork.
Yeah,
Okay. A lot of millennials out there, they go, oh, and I considered them order takers. No offense if that's you, but
sure.
that's all they did was, because houses were flying off the shelf. So all you did was take an order. You want this house done? Here it is. Here, that's what it was. So
Yeah,
now you have to work and you see how hard it is. Okay. I got into this when there was nothing but short sales. So if my
right.
audience doesn't understand that, I'm just going to say, look up the short sales. It's
Yeah,
more than the house is worth. So people
yeah,
were hurting. So people in those days were leaving the industry in droves. There were only
yeah.
4,000 realtors left when I got into the business. It was like, okay, it was like, great. I loved short sales. Then things changed and COVID happened many years later, and everybody's in the business now. And all the TV shows make it look like stealing candy from a baby. And we all know that's not the way it is. How do you, in this, now there's over 11,000 people in our market alone, and I'm in Northeast Florida.
Hmm.
How, if you were to give somebody one piece of advice on how they could stand out, a strategy for them to stand out from their competition, what would you tell them to do to stand out? One piece.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is just me and my mindset. First of all, the first thing I say, there is no competition for the authentic you. And if you're trying to be like every other agent, you're gonna fail and it's gonna hurt because you're like, well, they did that and it didn't work for me. And so to stand out, you have to believe there is no comparison to you. And that may seem kind of woo-woo or soft but there really isn't because you were created to be with your energy, with your skill set, with your ability to connect with other people. And if you don't know who that is, you need to find out. That's part of the work that we do with that mindset piece we were talking about, Zelda. But it is being your authentic self on socials, and it's not being the silly, stupid. If that's you, great.
Then
Then
that's
be
it.
silly and stupid. That is authentically you. But if you see silly and stupid and you're like, well, I guess I got to do silly and stupid,
But it's not
it's
you.
not going to translate. Remember, Zelda, you're all about connections and success through connection. If you can connect with who you authentically are and finding out who that is. And I'll tell you, that is not as easy as it seems.
No.
It's not, because we have been trained, we have been programmed since childhood, how to act, who to be, what to say, what not to say, and really spending that time. But if you can find that and reach the masses, then you are going to attract. You're not going to be chasing clients. You're not going to be cold calling clients. They're going to find you and they're going to be attracted to you.
I make
And
no
that
cold
is the
call.
number
No.
one
I do
way
not
to
cold call
stand
ever.
out.
Mm-mm.
No.
So how does this is not on my list of questions, but
Yeah.
I would like to know when, I mean, you are a coach.
Mhm.
There are many coaches out there.
Yeah.
So you have the competition too. What advice would you give a realtor who's looking for a coach on how to select the right coach for them? Because the right one is not, I mean, I was never one for the Tom Ferries and the all those
Yeah.
names. They were never for me. You know, one
Yeah.
size doesn't fit all. What
Right.
are maybe some of the top questions to ask a coach to determine if they're the right one for them, if they're a right fit?
Right. Right. I think the number one question to ask is, have you had success in real estate? And to what level? What have you done in real estate? I think it's kind of comical how many coaches have never sold real estate. And it's okay. They're doing a great job. I think there's some out there that are great, but you need someone who actually knows what you're going through. So ask them, have you sold real estate? What kind, at what level? Have you sold it? Can I see some proof? Can you show me some proof of what you're doing and show me the testimonies? Do you have testimonies, people that I can call? All of those things are really important. I'm trying to think. I know there's something else and I'm just not remembering it, what the question would be. But really, I think they need to have earned the right to coach you. And if you're not coaching, like Tom Ferry doesn't coach, he's events and whatever, but he has coaches. So before you step into the ring with one of their coaches, ask them these questions. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I would want people to ask us as well.
You want it to
What,
be a good fit. It's kind of like when you were saying there really isn't competition out there. It's being
No.
your authentic self, and
Yeah.
you want to connect with your coach.
Yeah. And one of the things I would ask too is, how do you coach? We're one of the things that differentiates Karen Coffey coaching from all the other ones is we don't really ask you, how some coaches will say, so tell me how your week was. What do you feel the gap was? What do you want to work on this week? And then they coach you through it.
Uh-huh.
That's fine. We'll say, what are you celebrating? And we tell you what to do. We don't ask what you want to do. We tell you what to do, because if you knew, you would just do it. And you do know, agents do know, there's so much information out there, but we're going to tell you how to do it right instead of just winging it, so to speak. Yeah.
That sounds so.
That's a
This is
great
something
question.
totally off topic.
Yeah.
We're going to wrap it up in just a minute. Something that's going to catch you a little bit off guard.
Sure. Oh, no.
You're going to ask me. So, what is your very favorite movie or book? So that if you see that book, you're going to pick that book up and you're going to reread it. Or if you see that movie while you're scrolling through TV or whatever, and it comes up, you're saying, I got to watch it again, even if it's been the 100th time.
You're right. Oh, my goodness. My favorite book is The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry.
Okay, I've not heard of that one.
It is amazing.
Okay.
It is about you didn't ask me what it was about, but that is my
You
favorite.
could tell us.
Okay, so it really
Tell us,
is
what's
how
it
we
about?
live. Now you've got to buy it. But it is how we are in our emails, in our phone, and as agents, we are sold out to the technology that keeps us connected, right? And it is about how you can actually be more productive by unplugging. And it's beautiful. The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. So I recommend that to everybody.
Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. Okay.
Yes.
Very
Yeah.
good. Well, Karen, it has been wonderful having you as a guest and
Thank
connecting
you.
with you again. Let's not lose connection again.
Nope.
Tell everybody here how they can reach you, how they can connect with you and learn more about your coaching program.
Yeah. So we actually have two parallel avenues. We have KarenCoffeyCoaching.com. I'm sorry, KarenCoffey.com. And that is the Making Agents Wealthy program. And so you can look into us there, and our testimonials are there and all of that. And we just have a very inexpensive membership kind of site, and that is at spiritledbusiness.org. And that is really a passion and heart of mine, just teaching people how to hear, like we mentioned earlier in the call, how to get direction in business. And we would just love to have anybody that would want to join. It's not a moneymaker, it's more of a mission. So
There you go. And the website again?
spiritledbusiness.org.
Spiritledbusiness.org. Okay.
Yes.
Org. Okay. Gotcha.
Yep.
Well, thank you again
So.
so much for sharing and giving of your time so generously. And I hope everyone you enjoyed today's show. It was a little different because we went straight into real estate, which is, hey, my favorite topic too. So I'm hoping you enjoyed it. And again, this episode was sponsored by Legacy Realty Group, North Florida. And until next time, I'm Zelda. Go keep making those connections.